Hello, I'm the Toycat, and welcome back to the video. When it comes to controversial Minecraft features, I think very few top the dual wielding situation. I'm sure you're familiar with that whole mess. And the funny thing about dual wielding is even to this day, most servers haven't updated 1.9 just because of this one feature, and many servers that do update 1.9 remove that feature from the game because it's just so divisive and so many players hate it, as well as so many that love it. And I figured, you know, there are certain Minecraft features like this where some people dislike it and some people really like it, but I figured why not go through some of the best Minecraft features that I'm just really glad they added. You know, you can argue they're controversial and they changed the game, but that they really improved the game in a whole bunch of ways. So today I'm going through 6 Minecraft changes that I'm really glad for. Hopefully you do all enjoy the video. Hopefully you learn something about Minecraft's past. If not, if you do all like it, likely let me know because it helps out the channel and let us know you do enjoy this sort of video. But with that said, let's get straight into it, shall we? And let's start with the very first, Minecraft feature, Minecraft change that I'm really glad for, which was a change from TU31 or 1.7 on the PC because it is brand new fishing. So before this update, the way fishing worked is you put your rod in the water, you waited for a bit, and then sometimes you'd get your fishing rod out. It was really, really dull. And even before that, you know, the 1.4 fishing, it was put your fishing rod in the water and then maybe at some point your thing will bob down, and that was just such a boring concept, but it's something you'd need to do every now and then if you wanted to, you know, get ocelots or whatever. However, the new fishing system is just so much more exciting because even though the basic mechanic of just like you leave it in there and then nothing happens is kind of the same, you get to see bubbles go towards it, so there's like anticipation building up, just like that, and then when you do it, you sometimes get other stuff, like you get salmon, you can get clownfish, you can get rare fish like the pufferfish, but you can also get rare drops. It's a really exciting system that means that, you know, sometimes you want to go fishing because if you want to get new enchantments, you do it. If you want to get name tags, you do this, and I think it's really awesome that there is a system in the game to turn, you know, something that was just relatively dull before into something that's pretty exciting. And I think, you know, fishing is one of those things that, again, some people will be like, oh, but I just want to get regular fish, but I think the new system is just inherently better, and I'm so glad they changed that. So yeah, the first change I'm very happy for is the new fishing, and yeah, by the way, in today's video, we're going in like reverse order of when they were added. This was a very recent one, but the next one wasn't quite so recent because it was, you know, in the 1.4 or TU19 update, because it was the Wither Boss. So yeah, the Wither Boss, and even just mob heads in general, so I've got a Wither Skeleton Skull here to prove the point, was something I was really happy about because I love the concept of adding late game stuff to Minecraft, and I also like, you know, rare events because they give you something to work towards. And in this case, as you can see, the Wither Skeleton Skull, it's cool because you get them only one in every 40 times, so, you know, it's kind of rare by itself, and even just having one on your head kind of makes you be like, yeah, look, I've got this rare item. I mean, my cat face goes for it, but let's just pretend it doesn't. So you get this cool item that you can wear on your head, and it's this, you know, again, great little decorative block, but as well as just being a great decorative block, it also allows you to fight one of the hardest challenges in the game, so again, gives you something to work towards, and then when you do that, you get to make a beacon, one of the most amazingly powerful items in the game, that even to this day, most people that have been playing Minecraft, you know, even as long as me, like years at this point, still haven't, you know, covered their world in beacons because they're that hard to get, and I love that there's content that's, you know, always keeping you working towards Minecraft, because that's what Minecraft is all about, right? It's always about having something to work towards, and yeah, some people would have hated the Wither Boss because it diminishes the Ender Dragon, or some people hate it because they won't be able to fight it, but I'm glad it's there, even if you don't necessarily fight it every day. It's been, you know, like, you know, months since I last fought the Wither Boss, but, you know, the fact that it's there and it means, and I need to fight it if I want to get this done, get beacons done, is really, really cool in my opinion, and that's why I think the Wither was a really great change to Minecraft. Speaking of really great changes to Minecraft, you might have noticed I walked over to my carrot farm, which is, again, one of those changes that when it came out, it almost seemed a bit silly, because before carrot farming and potato farming existed, and later on beetroot farming on the Pocket Edition, and now on all versions, but yeah, before these other 3 types of farm exist, you used to just have your wheat farm, and wheat farming to me was just so annoying for a whole bunch of reasons. First of all, you know, you have to plant the seeds and the wheat separately, so you end up with just a whole bunch of extra seeds. So in this chest, I think I just have, yeah, a bunch of seeds. I've got even more lying around somewhere around here, but yeah, so you end up with just this whole bunch of, you know, like, you know, seeds that you don't need, and that's really frustrating, and wheat farming was just kind of annoying by itself. Adding carrots and potatoes, let's just say carrots for now, was a really cool change because even though it seems like, oh, it's just triple the amount of stuff to farm, you know, potatoes works an entirely different food to carrots, which works a different food to bread, and it means you have like 3 different things to do. But the awesome thing about carrots, and the reason they're so fun to me, is the fact that, again, they're farmed easily enough, but they can be used to make one of the best items in the game, the golden carrot. And again, I love this, like, kind of really cool, somewhat hard to get, like, you know, using golden carrots seems like a silly idea, but then it's the best, you know, it's the best at doing something. It's not good enough that most people, you know, even do it most of the time, but the fact that it's good enough that it's still worth considering doing, you know, if you don't know, golden carrots have the best saturation, and therefore you won't go hungry for the longest time. The fact that they do exist in that way, and it's just a cool little kind of like almost secret Easter egg, but, you know, people who play the game and, you know, do the weird stuff like farming both carrots and gold get to do that. I love that it exists, and that's one of those features I'm really quite happy with. So yeah, that is the third change I'm happy with. You know, carrots slash, you know, potatoes. Again, at start they would have just seemed kind of dull, but I think they have, you know, like kind of obsolete, but they are actually quite useful in other ways. So with that said, let's move on to the, I guess the fourth, you know, change I'm really happy with, because it is to do with the other foods I have. Because, you know, even though stackable carrots are kind of cool, you gotta bear in mind that, you know, carrots existed after they changed the whole hunger and the whole food system. You gotta bear in mind with stuff like steak and like, there's a few other ones, bread, I think. All these foods used to be non-stackable. They used to take up a slot each, and this was just normal because obviously that's how they work. If you want to have 10 bits of food, you have to waste 10 slots, which was really frustrating because sometimes you would have to go through that. So bear in mind, one of the key differences is you didn't need to eat food. It would always be just a health thing, but still, the fact that if you wanted to have a decent amount of food, you had to fill your inventory was, again, just it seems kind of silly when you look at back in reflection. But still, some people would have said like, oh no, this is the spirit of Minecraft is changing. But to this day, can you imagine going back to like each steak takes up its own slot? I don't think you can, because that would be so awful. Like, isn't this just the worst thing to look at? I think it is, personally. So yeah, I'm very glad that what they did is they decided to just go with reason and stack them up. And again, it's one of those changes that people could have argued like really hurt the game in some ways, but that didn't necessarily do that. Speaking of that, by the way, let's move on to the fifth one. Let's not get to sleep just yet. But let's move on to the fifth feature, which I'm really glad they added, because it's to do with the world height. So the world height for the longest time in Minecraft until the adventure update. Yeah, I think it was the adventure update. In fact, was actually only Y128. Once you got to 128, it just stopped. Kind of like how it does at 256. So that means that basically your effective building height, because the floor level was at 64, your effective building height was 1/3 of what it is today. Because again, you got like 64 blocks built up as opposed to like 170. And yeah, the fact that they've raised it to 256 means that so many amazing things are possible. Again, that double the world space, triple the effective world space means that if you want to make a sky high sugarcane farm, isn't that cooler than it was before? Again, it actually went to sky height before it changed. It was only up to there. Imagine how dull that'd be to look at. Like, it's kind of cool, but isn't that so much cooler? I think it is, personally. And yeah, that's one of the really cool changes that, again, you can look at and you can say, oh, well, we don't need this extra height. But yeah, it is just a fundamental part of Minecraft today. And at some point, they're even going to raise the sky height to 512. And won't that be even better? Like, essentially, what would that be? Like quadrupling your actually, that'd be like 7 times. But, doubling your world height again. I think that's going to be a really cool thing. And I'm kind of excited by the whole concept. So, yeah, basically, world height increases, just one of those features that it's just universal good. I don't think anyone can argue against it, or they could at the time. But, arguing against it today would be like, oh, yeah, let's just not build above Y128. Doesn't that just seem silly when someone says that? Oh, I think it does. But maybe you don't, and let's move on to the last Minecraft change I'm glad about. And this is one that's not from the consoles particularly, but it is from the PC, because it's the very first PC version I played was the one that added this, so it's always been a part of my experience. But it just seems like a part of Minecraft that you need to have there, at least for me, because it is the bed. So beds were added in 1.3 alpha, if I'm not mistaken. It might be 1.03 alpha, but they're added in 1.3 alpha. Again, the very first update that happened when I was playing, like I played overnight, and the second day I logged in, they'd added beds to the game. And the reason that beds are so amazing is because you don't have to just mine out, at night. Let's say I want to work on the sugarcane farm, I wouldn't be able to do it before unless the place was lit up, which just seems a bit silly, right? Whereas now, you go to sleep, and it's just such a fundamental part of Minecraft. The ability to skip the night if you've set up a house and if you have all that stuff. The details have changed, but it's one of those features that, you could have seen as controversial at the time, like, oh yeah, I think it's better if you be hardcore at night. And although there are some nights where I still don't want a bed and I'd like to relive the old Minecraft days, I think the fact that it's in the game is just a fundamental good, and yeah, I think all of you do agree. Let me know if you do disagree with any of these features and you think they're the worst, but I think, again, these are all just pretty agreeable, like, yeah, they're good features. And just remember, when dual wielding comes out and does, or whatever, when it comes to dual wielding, when it comes to any other features that someone convinces you is the worst thing ever, it's sometimes, change sucks for a little bit. That's just how the world works, right? But eventually, things are generally changing for the better, and maybe that's a, thing for real life too. Like, it really sucks that, like, I don't know, I had to move house to a different country, or like, oh, it really sucks that my girlfriend left me. How sad these events are. But you gotta bear in mind, there is always going to be change, and even if change seems bad now, sometimes the change is good in the long run. Maybe that's a life lesson, maybe it's not. I don't know. I just know that you can't stop the world changing, but you can at least try and enjoy it, and I hope you will enjoy the video regardless. Like it if you liked it, share if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here, because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you all very much for watching, and goodbye.